Hey, it's Russ from the Infectious Groove podcast and vinyl channel. We do a lot of different type of videos on this channel, sometimes rare pressings, sometimes special pressings. Today, I'm going to feature an album that is special to me and I believe is on its way to becoming a rare pressing, coming right up. So if you're anything like me, your friends and family have a huge influence over who you become as a music fan, as far as just things that you hear other people playing or things people play for you to try and get you into a band. And the album I'm going to talk about today is absolutely no exception to that rule. I would not have heard of this band, I don't think, unless a friend turned me on to them back when this particular album came out. I had never heard anything quite like it at the time, would go on to hear many other things that sound quite a bit like it afterwards due to this record, but it became such a huge part of my teenage years and all of my friends hanging out. We just listened to this record constantly, and for years it has never been available on vinyl. It was released in 1993 and never received an original pressing and was finally issued on vinyl. And the record that I am talking about is 1993's KMFDM Angst, which is a powerhouse of German industrial music that, again, for me, I had never heard anything like it before. And since this record was released, I believe it had a huge impact on the rock, what we would hear on rock stations, at least in the United States, as far as that industrial sound, distorted vocals, very opened the door for more political statements and whatnot. When I think of the influence that this record had, I think a lot of times of artists like Slipknot, Faith No More, continuing down a little harder path than they started out with. Rob Zombie for sure, Marilyn Manson. If you'd like to look into some of the roots of those artists, I really think you don't need to look any further than this album here, Angst by KMFDM. Now, this is their 7th record, and at the time that it came out, I had heard nothing from KMFDM at all. And a friend of mine picked this up when it was new on CD. It was had never released an original vinyl release, and heavy guitars included with the dance beats and the political messaging and so on. And years later, I would go back and look further into the catalog that came out before this, and it's very good music, but quite in a different vein. A lot more beats and synthesizer and keyboard based than the guitar work on this record is. As far as longevity of this record, I hear it, like I say, in so many different artists, all the way up through today, but I always wanted this album on vinyl, and it just never had a pressing back in the mid-90s. All through the vinyl resurgence, it's never received a pressing, but that has finally been corrected, and I'm so excited. The cover art is absolutely intact the way that it was. Seeing as there was never a gatefold before, I do like that they just blew up a couple of pictures from the original CD artwork. The back of the LP is absolutely faithful to the original back of the CD. Again, I understand this is minimalist packaging, but there's also several ways this could have been done wrong. So I like that they kept it very minimalist. The inners, again, almost look like just blown up, a high quality blow up of the actual CD inserts, just all of the lyrics and the content, and heavy, thick cardboard sleeves. Again, if you watch the channel, you know I always go ahead and sleeve up my records in anti-static sleeves, so I put those in the back of the outer sleeve. However, one thing I do want to point out that I love about this pressing is something that is one of those I don't think I could have dreamed for it to have been done that well, is that they did put it over 2 LPs, pressed at 45 RPM, which I love. I've spoken on the channel before about loving 45 RPM pressings. The way that my listening group is set up here, I don't really have an issue with getting up to change the flip the record and change to the other side. So I personally am more happy to take the audio quality jump that you get going to 45 RPM pressings. In some instances, I understand it's not all, but in this instance for me, with a record like this, you almost might even look at it and say like, well, it's, you know, German industrial, a lot of beats, a lot of distorted vocals, a lot of really distorted guitar. How could that benefit? For me, I hear a whole lot of benefit in that 45 RPM pressing, and I'm very, very thankful they did it that way. I think it's a magnificent sounding pressing. Now, the only reason why this might become rare is, as of now, this is available in 3 different colors of vinyl, and I showed you the one I just chose, plain black. I don't have anything against the other 2 colors, but with something that is one of my favorite records of the 1990s, and is, as of the filming of this video, possibly so limited as to 1,000 copies, I just didn't want to take any risks and figured I'd go with the black vinyl over the light gray or the orange that they offered, just in case there were issues. I have, since I ordered, seen people on Facebook vinyl pages who have the orange vinyl and they have no issues with it, and that's awesome. I just didn't want to take the risk, and so I just went with the most plain version that I could find. But that's a bit of a rundown. If you're a KMFDM fan, I have to assume that you're excited about something like this getting put on vinyl finally. As always, I always ask, please make sure to light up the comments. If you've never even heard this album and you go take a stream of it just because of this video, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Even if you don't like KMFDM at all, you heard this or you saw that this was the next video and said, oh, I can't believe he's going to cover that. Tell me about it. Tell me what you don't like about KMFDM. But if you do love this album and you're excited that it's on vinyl, and, you know, let me know what your thoughts are if you picked one up or if you planned on picking one up. If today is the first time you've watched the channel, hopefully this is one of those videos that makes you earn your subscription. I would love it if you'd hit the red subscription button down below, maybe share this video with other people who love vinyl and music. But if you get involved in the comments, great. If you're subscribed to the channel, thank you. No matter what, thank you so much for watching.